Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here with my good friends Keith and Chaz. Hope y'all are doing really well. It's good to have you all here with us. Good to have you, Keith and Chaz, here with me too. It's a real honor and a pleasure to have you guys here. How are you guys doing? How are you, Keith?
I'm good. I think this is my first official stream with Chaz, from what I
Oh,
remember.
Is
really?
it?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think so.
wow.
Wow. Well, it's
A momentous occasion.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have
Well,
dressed up. I didn't know it was the first time with you,
what can we do to
but I
celebrate?
I just appreciate the opportunity to be on here and to be with Sanjay. And then if this is the first time with Keith, it's extra special. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We should all buy a watch to commemorate the occasion.
yeah, good enough. That's a good enough reason for me.
I think I think Collins John Mayer G Shock is available still. I probably shouldn't be ragging on Colin anymore. Not that we were ragging on Colin anyway. We were just
What,
ragging on the G Shock.
Chaz, are
Anyway,
you pro John Mayer G-Shock?
When I first saw it, I thought, um, it wasn't that I've never met a G-Shock I don't like. So I mean, it wasn't that I thought it was bad. I like the first color of that John Mayer better. Um, but the more I've looked at that one, it's I like it better than I did when I first saw it. Still not enough to order it myself, but it was I don't think it's a bad watch. Yeah, but I can see how some guys who aren't G-Shock fans
Yeah.
would not find it beautiful.
yeah. Well, let's steer away from this conversation. um, Before we have like a third consecutive episode of messing with that G Shock. Anyway, Keith, what's on your wrist? How was your
I'm,
day today?
my day was low key.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a Laurier, a watch that I know a lot of people I know don't like, so that's okay.
no, hey,
Um,
I like that one. So you can
Nice.
minus me from that list. Chaz, how was your Sunday?
Great, great. Except for we had a rainy day here, but still good Sunday. Good for napping and
Yeah,
football. So,
yeah,
and
sounds
I've
good.
got the Grand
Yay!
Seiko SB GP 007.
Yes, beautiful watch.
Yeah, it's
Star dial.
really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I enjoy it. I find myself wearing this a lot of Sundays. I don't know why, but it's just a good watch to grab on Sunday. So,
yeah, yeah. I can see that.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna jump in the chat real quick before showing my watch. Reinhard was first. Good to see you, Reinhard. Hope you're doing well. Peter is here as well. Good to see you. James, how's it going? Bill is here as well. Oh, our friend Keith is here from visiting
hey,
from a farmer's market.
yeah,
It's good to see you, Keith.
some cold farmers markets out there. Oh my god, the weather's
Yep.
so terrible right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Why do I live here? That's okay.
So you don't like the winter?
I hate the winter. I
Oh
hate every
no!
second of the winter.
Wow.
Not the Grand Seiko winter, the
Yes. Yes.
actual winter.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
don't
actually
know.
bad when as far north as you live to not love the winter.
Oh, I
So,
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I like winter. I do like me some winter. Good to see you, Justin. Hope you're doing well. Wilson's here too. We got Steve. How's it going, Steve? Um, let's see. Bruno's here. Hey, Bruno. Let's see. Dan, how's it going? Kevin and Rob. Bobby Legs is here. Good to see you, sir. Wolfie, how's it going, Wolfie? We got Tennessee Mike. We got Torin. Underachieving Watch Collector. Jared, Mr. Seattle Sounders. Good to see you. Yeah, our weekends have been going great. Hope yours has been too. Cowboy YQG, how's it going? Mez9. And we got Young Excellency. We got Danny Castine, how's it going? Ken Spear. Oh boy, did I get everyone? We got Kevin. Kevin, how's it going, Kevin? Let us know what's on your wrist, guys. Be great to know. Oil Money is wearing a cool Zenith. trying to class up this place. That's great. Is it the blueprint dial that you're wearing? Well, money. That'd be cool. That would be
Man,
really cool.
I love that blueprint. Love it.
Yeah. Yep. Probably one of my favorite Zeniths. After my one, of course. Brownie, how's it going? We got Floyd Morrison. How's it going? Cowboy Swami's here too. Good to see you. Feels like we haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, welcome. Bigard. He lives in the Arctic and hates the winter too. Huh. Confusing for me when traveling and it's warm outside but dark. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Lone Star Watch Collector, for the super chat. Super chat, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Clayton, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Desk Diver's here too. Justin's wearing the Pilot Chrono. Steve, Time Hill's wearing the Yachtmaster. Oh, okay. I'm gonna. Oh, Lone Star Watch Collector's wearing the Overseas. Cool. Very cool. Tennessee Mike's wearing the SPB 207, which has unparalleled finishing, by the way. Like, yeah, incredible stuff. Bit of an inside joke there, guys. Sorry. Young Excellency wearing the Seagull 1963. Very cool. No Time to Die on Clayton's wrist, who's doing the infamous one watch for the month.
What a great watch.
Yeah, that's a great watch for 1 month. Desk Diver SAGQ001. Cool. I'm not familiar with that reference. Jared's wearing the Speedmaster. Conspire is wearing the PRX and Muttmaster. Cool. And James is wearing the Orient Star GMT. Very nice. All right. I actually caught up with the chat. That's cool. Oh, wait. Dream Juggler. Wearing the White Birch. Yes.
Wow.
Good choice.
Nice.
Okay. On my wrist, I have the Seiko SJE085 Alpinist on a small circular scale alligator strap. Not a large rectangular scale alligator, small circular scale. I don't know if anyone gets that joke, but I'll just leave it at that. It's a Tim Moser joke. Tim Moser always has a large rectangular scale alligator strap on.
I got it. That was funny.
Yeah, yeah, more like a dad joke. All right, guys, let's let's go ahead and get started with our reviews for the week. We've got a couple of reviews, so let's talk about the review from our buddy Max, or WatchCrunch with Max. I keep wanting to call him Hot Ones, but WatchCrunch with Max. He did a great review of the Moser Streamliner. So the green dial center seconds that our friend Bobby has, Watch Medicine. Beautiful. It was literally Watch Medicine's watch. So it was a great video. Learned a lot about the Moser too. He went into a bit of history on the watch, and yeah, made me really want one. He even talked about biomimicry, which was interesting because I'd never really thought of that. But you know, the bracelet does have like a scale like feeling to it, and so I can totally get the whole biomimicry thing. But it was a really interesting correlation that he made with engineering and biomimicry and the watch. But do you guys have any thoughts on the Moser Streamliner center seconds? I think we've talked about it a couple of times, but Keith,
yeah, it was painful to watch because I don't want the watch.
Yeah.
But it just looks so good. I think the first time I watched an in-depth review of the watch was You're Terrific, and this is just another review that, I mean, the watch is great. What can I say?
Yeah.
I would love to have it. I'm sure I never will, but
hey, you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
In a couple of years, maybe.
We'll see.
You get into a car accident.
It's selling for over retail now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you could just walk in and buy one anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard it's still attainable. Like if you go gray market, or a secondhand market, you might end up spending way too much. But I don't know, my AD seem to be getting a fair amount of them. So if there's a Moser AD, which is very rare, I suppose, by you might be able to get a hold of one. I don't know. Then again, not a lot of people have 30,000 Canadian dollars burning a hole in their pocket. So
Right.
yeah, I know I don't. But yeah, I'd like to own that one day. Maybe we'll see. See how it goes. Chaz, any thoughts on the Moser Streamliner?
Well, first of all, what a beautiful watch. I mean, just the if you think of the watch as a whole package, to me, the watch and the bracelet make it special. And there's not many watches you can say the bracelet is that. I use the word integral, not on purpose, but is that important to the overall look of the watch, and just as beautiful as the watch in the finishing and engineering. It's such a special watch. There's not many of those watches in that, that are very hypey or that get my attention. That one does. And it's at the edge of being, for me, what I could be willing to put out for, a watch. And it's one of those aspirational things, maybe somewhere down the road and at some point in time, if you burn down half your collection to buy one watch type thing. It is so beautiful, and he did a good job with it. He was fair. He wasn't just over, just pouring out the love. He had a couple of criticisms that were legitimate. I like he talked about the retro futurism.
Yes.
And the theme for that whole thing, I thought that was interesting to show that, that part of the design, and just a well done. I hadn't followed him, so it was good for me to get exposed to him, and thought he did a real good job, real good video.
Yeah. Very, very genuine guy too. I've spoken to him on Instagram. Very, very friendly. Willing to talk, which not a lot of people are. So. Him and Brandon, they're really nice guys, and they do like this podcast like thing. There's a short video where they're chatting with each other, Brandon and Max, and they call it Between Two Jorns, like between two friends. It's kind of funny.
It is funny.
If I were to criticize it, a little over edited, a lot of breaks with memes in the middle. So I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have, but it was still funny. But yeah, great video from Max. Really interesting. It really made me really want the Moser more, which is not nice. Jumping into the chat here, Oil Money talking about that inside joke. Tell everyone how you insulted their Seamasters. Well, I insulted Speedmasters too, because we were having a bit of a debate.
He basically just blew apart Omega in general. Just kidding.
Yeah. Good to see you, Eric. Hope you're doing well. Watch once over. Is wearing the SFH 007J. Another reference I am completely lost on.
We got some mystery Seikos tonight.
Yeah, really cool. Young Excellency had a warm day today. Okay, life is good. We had a warm day too. It was nice. But it's going down to like minus 20 something Celsius tomorrow. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, like 18, minus 18, minus 17, something. So not looking forward to that. Kevin S. Captain Crunch. Justin says, is Sanjay not going to show us the layers of construction? That was good. On the leather strap, yeah. Sheer sides, so you can see the layers of construction. Mine does not have sheer sides, so I cannot see the layers of construction. Hey, Random Rob is here as well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Wolfgang says, do it. Keith. Yeah, Keith, go get it. You gotta get it.
Well, he was guessing in the video that Moser could be the next FP Jorn. I assume he meant by hype. And if that's the case, I'll never have a Moser.
No.
But I don't know how. I don't follow you know, high-end brands that closely, so I don't know how. I wouldn't be able to guess how, you know, if I agree with that statement or not. But
Yeah,
we don't need more brands being that unattainable. So
that's true.
but,
It would suck. It would suck if that just ballooned out of reach. But you know, there's always something else around the corner. So yeah, I'm one of those guys who's okay to settle. You know, I'm okay about settling. I've been thinking of doing a video on that. You know, because there's a lot of people saying buy what you like, and I've kind of said that too. But I'm also along the lines of, you know, it's okay to settle. If you need to settle, then, you know, enjoy what you can have.
Right.
There's so much to enjoy. Wolfgang says, what's with the negativity? Sanjay can order 2 for you guys. Sure, let me just call up my buddy. Yeah, can I have 2 streamliners, please?
hey, they sell Moser where you go, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could probably get a 20% discount on it.
Yeah. Maybe a long time ago. Danny Castine loves Max's reviews. Absolutely. Sanjay only loves the Railmaster. Ooh, I don't know. I poured a lot of anger into that. SLA 059, Brian Dillard has. Very cool. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next review. Let me just pull this up here. Oh, wait. I didn't... I just had the review banner. Okay, sorry. The next review here was going to be the Grand Seiko SBGY 007, the Omiwatari, done by our friend TGV from the Urban Gentry. So he usually has these really elaborate intros, really nice B-roll. It was interesting to see his take on this watch. He wasn't a fan of it. He was. Did it bug you guys that he was calling it Zarozatsu polishing?
Yeah,
That bugged me a lot. Like,
I kept thinking, what does he know? Some secret word I've never heard? And I thought it's Zaratsu. It's what's he saying?
You know, sometimes I think, and I mean this with you know, respect for him, but I think he sometimes is purposely obtuse. You know,
yeah.
Because I remember hearing how he had no idea that there was a blue Black Bay 58 when he was reviewing it. And this was like November of the year that it was released, maybe even the year after. But when he released the review of the Black Bay 58 Navy, he had no idea it existed. Oh, we lost Keith. But that was mind blowing, because it was like the biggest thing that happened that year when the blue Black Bay 58 happened. It was like on the cusp of lockdowns going on in 2020, yeah. And this thing was released, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know this existed. It was very, very cool." And I find that hard to believe, especially because he's involved in the community. Like, he's involved in the watch community. So when he does stuff like this, like, you know, calls it Zarazatsu polishing and never knew about the Tudor Black Bay 58, I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
you gotta be doing this on purpose. But regardless, he had some great insight here. He talked like every time he does a Grand Seiko video, he seems to add a little bit to the history of Grand Seiko. So it's almost like you have to watch all his Grand Seiko videos and you get like a nice picture of Grand Seiko, which is interesting. And his one his one was a defective model, because I have the same watch, not the same watch, but a variant of this watch, and I have that same movement. His one had a ghost date position. Or I'm guessing it was some sort of defect, but mine does not have that. So I can vouch for it on my end. But it's kind of crushing to hear that there's this, you know, somewhat serious movement thing going on here with a ghost date, and he showcased it. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't like he was making it up. But yeah, what did you think about it, Chaz?
Well, I liked his customary overstatement about I know everybody wants to have these unsponsored, completely unbiased reviews, no outside influence. This is, and then immediately I put this on the wrist candy rubber strap. I mean, he doesn't even
like
get the intro done, and he's already hawking a strap, that he didn't mention that he represents, I think he's a partner with wrist candy straps.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, yeah, it may be true about the watch itself, but not the strap, but, and I'm not a TGB hater. I like him. I've said this many times early on in my watch journey. I devoured his videos. He was, I think he's really good for people just coming into the hobby. If you want to get exposed to a lot of different kinds of watches, and he covered some lower end watches, and it's not just about the hype stuff. But I don't know. He seemed to, he just, when he talks about Grand Seiko, seems to be a little bitter, I didn't think it was, to me, I didn't think he gave the watch the credit it deserves. That's just my opinion, probably because I'm more of a Grand Seiko fan. I think that's a great watch. And, I don't know what the issue was with the ghost position on his particular watch, but I thought there's no way Grand Seiko would put that out with a ghost position. Just default. It has to be there's had to be some kind of problem with that particular watch.
Yeah. And so, I can vouch for that because I own it. I own it. Or a similar one. Yeah.
So I didn't, it would have been good if he put maybe a little context to this. It could be, instead of just say it was a ghost position, maybe say there could be a mechanical problem here. That would have been a little more fair to me. But it'll be confirmation bias for some people who already want to, find a reason to not like Grand Seiko. And then for those Grand Seiko fans, he did make some good points there. But calling it Zawaratsu polishing, I don't know what he was doing. I kept thinking, surely I have not said it wrong the whole time. I kept looking, what's he saying? Is there a word I don't know? But yeah, I don't know what he got.
It's not the first time he's done that. So it might be just like a mental thing that he's always heard it as Zarazatsu.
Kind of like Charles Barkley's golf swing. It's got an extra little hitch in it at the top. He kind of, it's like he says one part twice, Zarazatsu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts, Keith? Oh, we can't hear you. You're muted.
Are you muted?
No. All right. Well, we'll get back to get back.
Sign language.
No.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, there you are.
What do you think about his critique that he wished it was smaller? Because I know you like to wear smaller.
It was driving me nuts. I'm not going to say anything because you guys are on the more normal size of a wrist, but the whole time he said, I'm in more like 34, 33 on my dress. I'm thinking, my goodness, how small can you go?
Yeah.
When he was talking about the dimensions, I'm like, oh, those are pretty good dimensions. And he's like, I wish it was smaller. I'm like, nah, not with a dial that looks like that. You want it to be as big as possible without being too big.
Yeah.
So I like the size that it is, but
yeah, I have a 6 1/4 inch wrist, same size as TGB's. I think that watch wears perfectly on my wrist. I love the way it looks. It would be awful if it was smaller. not awful as in way less people would be able to enjoy it. So at the 38 mark, I think it's perfect. It's good.
Yeah.
And the lugs are super short. Like
right.
it's very stubby. So if it was smaller, man, it would wear really weird.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. There's no part about that watch that's big. I mean, it's not big in any dimension, and he kept calling it too big. You know.
And he mentioned it was kind of thick too, and I mean, I kind of get it. It's 10 mil thick, but it's got this super domed crystal, and it's not thick.
No.
I don't know what he's expecting, for the money. If he wanted it way thinner than that, it'd be like a Cartier. Cartier Santos is kind of thin. But, yeah, I don't know.
Octo we'll just say Octo, the Bulgarian. That's thin,
Yes. Yeah.
That watch is not thick at all. I don't think anybody would think it was thick besides him on that one. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
nothing else for me to add. I like Grand Seiko a lot. This isn't a watch for me. It's a little too dressy. I'm not big on the color of it. It's just there's other ones out there.
Yeah.
That I like better.
Yeah, for sure. Kevin was not a fan of TGV on that video.
Like others were saying, though, he has like the best sound and some of the best video quality than anyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. It was a treat, to watch him watch the B-roll on that watch, as well as the commentary. His storytelling is really good. So
right.
I do enjoy that.
And I do love the fact that Seiko's origins, and I love how Grand Seiko came about and how they divided their company to compete against each other to see, to make the best watch. I love that story, and I've heard it a bunch of times. It's not new to me, but I think he does a good job telling it. I really do.
Yeah. Money was chuffed to bits to see the review. One of his videos. Neff asking what the reference is of this Grand Seiko SBGY 007. Let's see. Dan saying pet peeve when someone pronounces Pelagos, but Pelagos. How do you read this comment? Dan, come on. I always call it the Pelagos. But I'm guessing you pronounce it Pelagos? I mean, you could say
Pelagos.
Yeah. Justin, my wrist is diabetic. No candy for me. That's good. Says he doesn't have a signet ring. Can't really be a fan. Sam is here. Good to see Sam. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I'm gonna skip down, guys, just to catch up with the chat. Eric says TGV is his friend. No issues with him. Yeah. He's a nice guy. Seems like a nice guy. Just question marks, It's embarrassing. When he says Zarazatsu was as embarrassing as saying pen instead of watch like 20 times in a row. Yeah. I don't know, man. At least I was aware of what I was doing. I mean, I don't know. I don't take myself too seriously. I kind of like laughing at myself, so that was fun. I got to do that again.
That was fun.
Yeah. I've been meaning to cut that video, put it up as its own video, because it was such a colossal disaster. TGV complained about Zarazatsu polishing was too shiny. It's funny. It's a funny little garden.
Yeah, well, I kind of agreed with him. He was just worried about scuffing it up. He's worried about wearing it and scuffing it up because if you want it redone, it has to go back to Grand Seiko. And
yeah.
I definitely have had that thought as also having a watch with Zaratsu polishing. So
yeah,
I can relate to that.
Well, it only has to go to Grand Seiko if you want the same process done on it. I don't even know if they would do the same process on it again.
Right, that's true.
Because you can get that clarity. I'm gonna say you can get that clarity, regular ways, like without going by hand and stuff like that. You can get a similar clarity. Like the Black Bay 58 that I have is so close to Zaratsu polishing, clear, distortion free. It's very close, and I have stared at the two watches side by side for, I don't know, hours, and it's close. So
yeah,
Tudor is completely mechanical.
You're Terrific said he couldn't tell the difference between Zaratsu and regular polishing. Random Rod just had a higher end Willard on his channel.
Yeah,
and that has Zaratsu, and he said he could tell a difference when compared to his Breitling and his Rolex, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just up to the individual. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen Breitling polishing. It's a little less impressive. I don't know about Rolex, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of variables, I suppose. Good to see you, Karen. Also, to add to that, my AD was willing to take on a damaged Zaratsu polishing watch and refinish it.
Okay.
So, yeah, the watchmaker there is like 80 years old. I don't know if it's the same guy who does the case finishing, but they claim to have really talented people on staff to take care of that stuff, and I believe them because of the kind of customer that they attract. Sam, yes, this was the Omiwatari review. Just gonna jump down again, guys. Sam says, after owning many GSs, I actually don't care as much for Zaratsu. It's nice. Maybe I could reset my watch memory. I'd be more in awe. Yeah. All right. Oh, there you go. Kevin also mentioned that. Breitling, I'm not sure Breitling is known for its case polishing, though. Yeah, I agree. I remember seeing like a brand new, what's that, super Chronomat, the Chronomat, and being really unimpressed. It's like a cheap shine, like a blingy cheap shine. That could be just me, though. While Grand Seiko's polishing and Tudor, just based on my experience, Grand Seiko and Tudor, it's more of a deep black shine, so it doesn't scream at you. But when you look close, the shine is incredible. I don't know if I'm making sense, but Bobby, thanks so much. No, your terrific review this week. Yes, very kind. Thank you, sir. You're very generous. I appreciate that. All right, let's move on to the main show. Wow, we're 30 minutes in. Woo. Okay. I think we can talk about this one pretty quick, so we'll get a bit ahead. Jeff McMahon was talking about a couple of things this week. He was going through quite a roller coaster, like in this week. It's like he was gone for a while, and he's back, and he's just making up for it in videos.
Yeah.
He did a couple of videos talking about his Marine Master 300 and the existential crisis he's having with that watch. And basically, he did come to a solution was to get this Hexat bracelet from Strapcode, I believe. And yeah, really enjoying that. But the main point of this video was talking about the exit watch. And he was talking about it from the perspective of this guy who commented on one of his videos. We're talking about finding this exit watch is kind of an organic experience. So you basically have your watch collection. You're not looking for your exit watch. If you're looking for your exit watch, it's never going to come. But you find your exit watch is basically when you really want to wear the watch all the time. When you forget that watch, it ruins your day. And it was almost kind of felt like a love story, but yeah, you don't seek out your exit watch, it finds you basically, and it's a very natural process, and then you get to exit the hobby, I guess. But the weird thing here is the guy didn't exit the hobby, right? He was talking about a Citizen watch that ended up being his exit watch. The hour hand fell off of it, and and then his next exit watch was the SPB 143. McMahon is really excited about his 143 that's in the mail, and he's already imposed this exit watch kind of status on this watch that he doesn't have yet. So McMahon's already, I feel like he's already contradicted this whole thing that this guy commented on. But
I'm gonna say I'm on the edge of my seat to see how he feels about the SPV.
yeah, me too.
Especially because it's it's considerably smaller than any other watch he owns.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has high hopes for it. I think he might be let down, but we'll see.
I think he's going to be let down. And one comment about the Willard on his wrist. He has a 42 mil Willard on his wrist. He makes it look like a 36 millimeter Datejust.
Yeah.
It just hit me in this video, just seeing the size of his wrist and his forearm. Man, it would be a sight to behold to see him in person. But yeah. So great video from McMahon. Really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. I totally disagree with that comment. Organic exit piece comment. I don't think that's how it happens. I don't think an exit watch exists.
What do you think about? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you just either decide you've had enough and you quit because of some catastrophic something or other, or you just keep enjoying the hobby in various ups and downs, like various different enthusiasm cycles. So right. Yeah, what were you going to say, Keith?
Well, he brought up that person that wrote in brought up another point and says just because you spend more doesn't mean you're going to connect with it more.
Right.
Which I feel like I could relate to, but I don't. Not that I've bought super expensive watches, but I see that even with you, Sanjay, with like you really like the Alpinist, which you certainly have more expensive watches than that. But I just like that thought that just because you spend more doesn't mean you're automatically going to be happier with the watch.
Yeah,
in general.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I probably get more enjoyment out of this than a one double its price. So, not that I don't get any enjoyment out of those. It's just, if I were to quit, I'd probably keep this one and offload everything other than the SPGY 003 because I can't bear to think of losing that one. But yeah. Well, what were your thoughts, Chaz?
Well, there are two things. First of all, I haven't watched Jeff McMahon in a long time, so I was glad to go back and watch. There was a period of time when I watched a lot of his stuff, and then I kind of got tired of the always being, this angst all the time. It was kind of like rubbing off on me. And I didn't want to be angsty,
Yeah.
So, but I thought I really do like him. I think he's a good guy. And so I was glad to go back and kind of reconnect with his videos. I thought he did a good job on this. He went with a comment that was, I think the guy's name was Watch Chimp.
Okay.
Which the guy that wrote in the comment that's kind of spurred the organic, exit watch. I think he renames it also Freedom Watch.
Oh yeah.
Right. Which I think that term sounds better. But I do like the idea of that kind of finding you instead of you going out and finding it. That over time you do gravitate and connect with certain watches, and it's not always about the price. Like right now, the watch that I'm most bonding with is one of the, less expensive ones, the new Zen I got, the 103 Classic 12. Man, I love that watch, and I could wear it every day and be happy,
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know that was going to be the case. It was I had to make a decision quick about buying it, and so I didn't. It's not what I planned for, and as far as money, it's not the most expensive by any stretch that I have. But
it sounds like it happened organically.
It was kind of organic. It's kind of organic, and there's a lot of freedom, in that watch.
Yeah.
So, I thought you did a good job. I thought it was a good video, and I do like the idea of, a watch that you really bond with sometimes doesn't have to do with the price.
Yeah.
it's not always the most expensive watch that brings you the most joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumping through the comments here, Kevin with another zinger. If your exit watch is Seiko SPB 143, you should consider exiting the hobby. That's really good.
I mean, Jeff McMahon goes through so many watches and so many Seikos too that it'd be quite the surprise if this ends up being an exit watch.
Yeah, I can't even picture it. I mean,
yeah,
he's his own person, and you could tell how excited he was about the SPB 143 in this video. It was not like he was saying he's excited, but you kind of see his smirk, when he was mentioning it, and like when the guy Watch Champ, when his exit watch happened to be an SPB 143 too. Yeah, it was interesting to see his reaction to it. One Money says the Citizen was a disaster. It's going to exit before he does. Yeah,
I must say I'm looking forward to other 62 Mas reissues for 2022 to see what Seiko comes up with. I assume more are coming. I really like the SPB 143 as well.
Yeah, it's a great watch. Great looking watch. McMahon needs internal turmoil. No such thing as an exit watch for him. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's mentioned that in the past, which is why I find him fascinating. Because he talks about, having to create agony for himself in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting guy, but he's also got like this really deep thoughts. Like he had this whole series on Master Po. Is it Master Po? The Kung Fu master from his childhood? Not that he learned Kung Fu, but from some show. And he was writing a book about thoughts from Master Po, which is really interesting to hear about. So, yeah.
I'm gonna say he comes out with a video. It always goes to the top of my list. It's always the first for me to watch.
Kevin says Jeff should step up and go for Planet Ocean. I don't know if you saw his struggle with that. But yeah. Let's see.
Well, Clayton was saying he'd be even more tortured with the PO.
Yeah. And there was a great episode on Clayton's podcast actually about where Jeff and Clayton talked about that. So you guys should check it out, the Watch Talk podcast. Justin explaining here how Jeff tried to Planet Ocean and a Tudor and had a crisis about having a watch that expensive on. Yeah.
That would be me if I got the Moser. I would just be too worried all the time about, something happening to it.
I think I would be too. Not that it would get stolen or anything, and not that it would get damaged. More along the lines of this is kind of not a mass-produced movement, so there's a more chance of something going on wrong with this. And if I burn my entire collection down to get it, and now I have to send it off for like 6 months, that would be my concern. I spend $20,000 or however much it goes for one, and then have to wear a G-Shock for a while for 6 months.
Bobby's was in good shape on the video.
Who, Jeff?
Bobby's watch on the video, his Moser that was in the video, it was in good shape. Didn't see any.
I don't think anything will go wrong with it. It's it's supposed to be a sports watch.
Yeah.
Wolfgang says, I imagine my exit watch purchase is going to see Karan in my 90s buying a Drupal. Yeah. Wilson, Sanjay, which pen you should keep? Did I say pen? Did I do it again?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Okay. Okay. I have to read that first, but yeah, just because I spend more on my old lady than any other girlfriend doesn't mean I connected with her more. Yeah. Hey, Detroit Spartan, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Neff says I have an existential crisis. every time I approach a double door. I'm not sure which one is unlocked. That's totally unrelated, but oh man. Yep. Worry.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna jump down, guys, because yeah, we're behind here. Hey, not so obvious watches. Peter's here. Good to see you, sir. Jeff needs to embrace the crazy at the core of his hobby. His problem is trying to rationalize emotions. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna change though. Hey, Joey's here as well. My exit watch will be the one on my wrist as they carry me out of the house. Boots first. Yeah, there you go. A man resigned to his fate. All right, moving on to the next video. Let's talk about Keith's pick here. 24 hours at a time.
This is just a quick one. I meant
Yeah.
to put this in the review part of it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Of course, like I'm a Laurier fan. He reviewed. So the review starts out that he met a friend of his who had the Laurier Gemini.
Yeah.
He was going to borrow it to do the review, and as soon as he put it on, he realized he wanted to buy it, so he just went ahead and bought it. And actually, the same thing just happened to Kat and Catlin from 10 and 2. They went to Wind Up, the show from Worn and Wound, and said they weren't going to buy another, any watches there. And then they put on the same exact watch, the wide dial Gemini, and walked out with the watch. And I feel like I can relate to this because, like, Laurier, they do bring me a lot of joy. They're, as far as watches go, they're on the lower end price wise. And I really have to stop myself from buying more Lauriers.
Yeah.
I really like that Gemini. I like the Hydra 2, the blue dial, which luckily is out of stock right now. And I know Laurier's watches, they're pretty standard designs. They're not doing anything so much out of the box, although the copper dial TGV watches a little more stepping outside the typical comfort zone. But yeah, I was curious what your guys' thoughts were. I feel like this is something that Chads would talk me out of of buying more Lauriers because I could use that money towards more higher end watches. But would I, if I went ahead and bought another Laurier or two, would I just ultimately regret that? Would I be better going for other Seikos or maybe some other type watches, or what do you think?
What is the price of a Gemini, if you don't mind me asking?
It's
Do you know?
500.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
The
really
movement
hard.
worries me a little, but yeah, I
That's
think
the
all
Venus,
Laurier.
right?
So I'm sorry.
That was the Venus movement, like made in China.
Yeah, it's a Seagull.
See, yeah, okay, yeah.
ST19, I think.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So you can't really service that movement.
Yeah.
It's prohibitive. Like if something does go wrong with it, you kind of have to check it out and get another movement. And then kind of have to check out the whole watch. I don't know. I don't know, man. It kind of breaks the whole romance of having something that is, that'll last forever. But
or I could just go
I really like Laurier's watches when it comes to their three-handers and stuff like that. Like their Neptune. I love the Neptune. I've had it for a short while. It's probably the only microbrand I've owned, and I appreciate that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Tudor Chrono as is, like the Black Bay Chrono. It is top heavy. I can attest to that.
Yeah, I mean, the clickbait of the whole video is that he prefers it over the Tudor Chrono. But I mean, besides that, they're wide dial chronographs. They're both Panda dials. I mean, they're pretty much not similar at all.
No.
One is much larger, one is much more expensive. It's just completely different. So I would of course choose the Laurier over the Tudor. I don't think that that specific Tudor is for me at all.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much. That's just out of two watches, which one would you pick? But yeah, I was just every time I go on Laurier's website, I'm like, should I do it? And then I always back off, and I figured I'll wait and see.
I mean, are you even interested in a chronograph?
Not really. And that's the one I like the most probably, but usually I'm not interested in chronographs.
Right.
I actually think Doxa's sub 200 chronograph is really nice. It's a huge premium over the 200. I think it's like 2,500 where the sub 200 regular is 1,000.
Yeah.
But that's really nice. It's really clean. I really like the choices of even arrows on those chronographs. So that watch I really like, and you could go crazy with the colors for Doxa too. But usually, chronos aren't for me.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Chaz?
Well, I knew that watch was kind of big on Keith's radar. You know, I know I hadn't followed this particular channel before, so I wasn't used to his reviews, and it did. You know, the thing about, is this better than the Tudor? I kept thinking in the video he didn't try to do that, so obviously he was just trying to get, like you said, trying to, that's what you do. You get people to click on there. This is the Tudor Chrono Killer, but when I first got into this hobby, I experimented on a lot of brands like Laurier. They would have a watch that looked a lot like another watch, that I didn't think I could ever want to spend that much money on. And so it allowed me to try those kind of watches. And so I kind of moved past that. But I wouldn't criticize someone who, if you enjoy a brand, enjoy it. If you like those, I like G-Shocks. Some people think that's a waste of money. But it's a kind of a sub collection for me. I've got a bunch of squares of several other models. I just enjoy them. They're fun, and so it is probably not a watch that's going to be serviceable, like Sanjay was saying. But if you enjoy it, I wouldn't talk you out of it. I would say if you aspire for a better version of that, then you're probably not going to be satisfied with that for long.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you wouldn't want to keep buying those things because you are just delayed. That's money you could use towards something better. But some people they don't aspire to, like, I'm not going to have certain high horology pieces. I'm just not going to do it. So an integrated bracelet watch, I'm not going to get a Nautilus. I'm just not going to put that kind of money in a watch. So I wouldn't mind experimenting with something less. If, like Sanjay was saying earlier, settling. Some may see the Laurier as settling, but if you enjoy it, enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's true. I wouldn't be buying it as a stand-in for an Omega Speedmaster or anything. I would just be because I like that watch. Whereas the one I'm wearing actually is more of a replacement of the Tudor Black Bay 58. And sometimes I still think about the Tudor, but then when I try it on, I don't like it as much as I do in my head before I try it on. But I understand.
Pete here has an interesting comment. It seems he thinks with Laurier, I feel like if I didn't read the brand, I'd have no idea what it was. Take that off, and it could be 100 other brands.
Yeah,
I do kind of get that. Like with a Neptune, it has the DNA of a ton of different watches, like the 50s Speedies and Seamasters. It's got that kind of feel to it. It's got
the big crown from Rolex. And
so I can totally get that. But
but they don't hide that. Like on their website, you go and you look at, they have like articles for each watch, and it's like, this watch was inspired by this watch, this watch, this watch. It's not something they hide. They're like, hey, we're a lover of 50s, 60s watches. We're using those old watches that we love as inspiration for designing these, which a lot of brands say. So it's not something new. I mean, it was a little more maybe when they first started. But vintage inspired is definitely something that a lot of brands are doing now.
James mentioning it would cost less to replace the Seagull ST 1901 than to service it. Dan says Hustlate is a deal breaker for me. I don't know, man. It's a deal maker for me. Clayton says he knows multiple people with 40 plus Zelos.
That's right.
Wow.
Some people dive deep into those little, certain makers. I could collect Helios. I mean, I love that brand. If you're talking about Microbrand, I'm not, but I could see how somebody would enjoy it.
Yeah. Neff saying $500. That's not even 2 dinners with Chrono, Leary. Yeah, we're gonna get to that because he mentioned something similar.
Yeah, do you want to go to that one?
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, that we're skipping through the chat here again. And we almost need like 2 hours to to just have a blast with everyone together. Anyway, moving on to let's see. Did I make a banner? I did make a banner. There we go. Teddy Baldassarre's video. Kevin O'Leary and Teddy Baldassarre react to popular Microbrand watches. This is a good one. This is I had a blast. I'm glad Keith is here as our resident Microbrand expert.
Even though I've only ever owned one.
Yeah, but you're on top of it. It's
I tend to keep track of them a little.
Yeah. So it's you're an asset to the community, Keith. We do appreciate you. But yeah, this video really exposed Kevin O'Leary a little bit, in my opinion. Yeah, just to cut to the chase, I'm going to read out the watches that Teddy Baldassarre did show Kevin. It was the Brew Metric was first, went on to the Notice Retrospect, then the Traska Freediver, Zelos Nova and Starfighter, then the Fairer Lander 4, Monte Atlas GMT, and Higi watches from France. I mean, really interesting little collection of Microbrand watches. I nearly fell to the floor when Kevin O'Leary mistook the Brew watch for a Nautilus. I can't even make the connection there. And, you could tell Teddy was really shocked too.
Yeah.
He said, "What Nautilus?"
I mean, they both have what looks like integrated bracelets. That's the only similarity.
Yeah,
they've both got kind of squared cases. That's it. And it's like Teddy tried to give him an out. Like, oh, you mean something else? And he didn't. He doubled down.
Yeah.
It's like, are you? He was going, well, you surely don't mean that, but he did.
Because he talked about the silhouette of the Brew watch, and I was like, no, not even the silhouette. I can't. Like, you got the ears on the Aquanaut,
right.
Which is completely anyway, that was interesting. The fact that he was really shocked that it was a $400 watch, and the fact that he liked that it was $400 watch is interesting. It shows that he's not. It shines a light on a good side of Kevin O'Leary's character. A lot of people are like, oh, $400. It's not for me. But he was excited that it was $400. I kind of appreciated that about Kevin O'Leary. I'm not on a first name basis with him. Anyway,
it's Mr. Wonderful to you.
Yes, Mr. Wonderful. I am
Mr. Wonderful.
I'm a cockroach, and I need to be afraid of the foot that's going to come from the sky and crush me. Do you guys have any other glaring moments that you guys want to talk about this video? It was a long video. Really, really interesting one.
I don't know that, I was trying to not be cynical listening to it, but I can't believe he was so impressed with every one of these watches. I mean, basically, he was just stumbling over himself to be impressed. Number one, with these watches. Number two, like, he couldn't believe any watch would cost as little as these cost. Like, you're kidding? It only costs that? Like, he couldn't believe it. Like, he I don't know what he was expecting. It was going to be 20,000. He would have said, "Oh yeah, that sounds about right." And he kept calling these artists, these Microbrand people, artists. To be honest with you, most Microbrands just put out, it's not really artistry. you know. And he kept saying, it's all about the dial for me. It's all about the dial. And then he was just so impressed with watches that had not that great a dial. But yeah, and the most interesting to me was the French brand that you could swap out the case and the bracelet. I mean, it basically you get a watch, you know,
capsule.
Yeah, just the dial and the movement, and then you can put it into all kinds of different things. And that sounded super gimmicky to me. And you know, who wants to just have one watch that you can change out? I mean, it was like, it wasn't cheap. It was like, it was
$2,400 for the
or $2,400, even more. I think it was maybe from, I don't know what they're doing, euros or whatever, but it was not cheap. So yeah, it was an interesting thing. And Teddy, I'm a little mixed with his. I think you might see, I kept thinking Teddy's going to say, oh, and you can hit the link below if you want to purchase any of these, you know.
Well, it turned out he doesn't actually sell any of them.
Right.
Which was interesting.
It was.
Yeah.
For now. If we come up in a week or two and he says, hey, by the way, I'm adding all these Microbrands.
Yeah, I think he does sell Zelos. I don't know if he sells those specific watches.
Okay.
But it's cool to see the different brands get the spotlight on this video.
I feel like this was like the cream of the crop of Microbrands. You know, like some of the best. Like I've heard really great things about a lot of them. Like what was that? Ferrer. I was really impressed with the Ferrer watch. I have not seen that before. And the type, you know, I care about really dumb things, but the shade of blue is beautiful. The typeface was excellent. The font on the dial, the spacing between the word letters was excellent. You know, I don't know why more Microbrands can't, you know, put some effort into the typeface and the logos, but I really appreciated that. So new watch for me to consider. But anyway, sorry, Keith, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, I was listening to actually today. I was listening to Wrist Cheese Radio, which is Bro Dinky's podcast, and he says when he goes to wind up, the Ferrer booth is always so full. He never gets to actually try them on because it's always like 3 people deep. So it seems like a lot of people like them. I mean, this watch is way better than what was on Just More Watch recently had a Ferrer watch, which I wasn't big on at all. But yeah, the like the greenish blue of this watch, I really like.
Yeah. Let's jump into the chat real quick. Kevin says I can't stand, or Peter says I can't stand Kevin Leary, but his talk at Dubai Watch Week forums was brilliant. Have to look that up. Dan says you got to squint really hard. you really do have to squint really hard to mistake that. Because he even said you could buy $100,000 Nautilus or buy this, and yeah, I just about wanted to, you know, slam my head into the keyboard. I was like, what? Seriously? No one's mistaking this for. Anyway, someone should recommend a good optometrist.
Mr. Magoo.
Yeah. Okay. So
I guess if you're wearing that brew out, you're gonna be worried that someone's gonna steal it.
Yeah. Maybe, you know, maybe it's us. Maybe we're the problem, and maybe it does look like a Nautilus. I don't know.
Yeah, I maybe I need to get a brew watch and scratch my Nautilus itch. So
yeah, hey man, it's like the interest on the Nautilus. I don't know. Not even.
No, it's not even. It's not sales tax. It's not even. It's.
No. Torrin says it got me when Teddy presented a series of dive watches, and Kevin was like, "Wow." He did say that. I couldn't believe I heard that.
You're right, Torrin.
Do I detect some water resistance here? Something like that.
That's interesting about the Haji watch, like because it comes in that capsule. Is that crown fully sealed in that capsule of a movement dial combination? Because it comes as a dive watch. Would that? I mean, does that kind of make it water resistant, or is it just a fashion thing?
Yeah, I don't see how that could be.
Yeah.
I don't see how it could remain water resistant by changing it out in and out of cases. Maybe they've got some way to do it. But yeah, it looked gimmicky, really gimmicky.
I'll have to look that up though, just for curiosity's sake. The only cool thing, says Kevin S, was the hardened steel of the Traska watch. It was pretty cool. Neff says, I'm surprised he didn't say anything about how ugly the case on that Zillos Chrono is. Yeah, that was bad. The end link, I think, made it worse.
Do you think Mr. Wonderful was being just extra nice? You know, was he didn't want to like dog on the watches? You know what I mean? Which is not his character at all normally.
Yeah.
But if he really didn't like a watch, would he say it? I don't know.
I feel like he was close to saying that about Ferrer. It seems like he was going to kind of dog on the Brew watch until he heard the price. How cheap it was or affordable it was.
Yeah, at first he said it's a Nautilus knockoff.
Yeah,
and he's like he was going to critique it, and then when he found out it was $400, he said, "Oh man, that's the best watch I've ever seen." You know, so he did a complete 180. You know.
Yeah, Pete actually really loves Ferris. That's interesting to know. Says they're too small, which is great for me. He also, Kevin was saying they are disrupting the watch industry. Did they actually say that? I hope not.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Maybe Kevin has spent so much time staring at Nautiluses that just what all watches look like to him. Yeah, like other sea Daytona and everything. Yeah. Like I can see that actually. Interesting thought. What did you guys have any other thoughts about that video? The trio he picked at the end was the Brew watch, the Traska, I think, and the Ferrer. Would you guys have picked those watches? I definitely would not have picked the Brew watch. And that was
no. I thought the Traska. I've seen Traska watches before, and I always thought they looked, nice. I think they look like well-made watches. So
yeah,
I probably would. I'm not into micro brands, but that's one watch I probably would pick up just for the, the durability of it. Kind of as a good beater.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I would switch out Brew for Manta.
Yeah, Manta. Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Manta.
Yeah. Someone told me it was. This is going back really far back, but I actually said in one of the watch soups that Manta is as good as Rolex. I've since been able to try Manta, and I take that back wholeheartedly. The person who told me Manta was as good as a Rolex Submariner is smoking something weird.
Oh, because was Torn wearing his Manta? Is that how you tried one?
Yeah, I think that was it. That was what Torn traded in Helios. Was that a Manta? That was it. That was it. Yes, that's when I got to.
What did you think of it? It's okay.
I had high hopes. I had high hopes because of what I had heard in the past. So when I saw it, I was let down so badly that, I'd have to see it again with a clean slate to reappreciate it. I was just really disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not Rolex quality, guys. Don't believe that if someone tells you that.
They're pretty pricey for a micro brand. Manta. I mean, we're not talking about that. Aren't they like 2,000 and up, kind of?
Yeah.
And yeah,
pretty much
approaching 3 now, right? And on a few pieces. Was it like the GMT is close to 3? Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's in the low 2s. For American dollars, anyways.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's Kevin says it's just trying to be Rolex quality. Yeah. Robert says didn't want to make bracelets for Rolex. I don't think so.
No.
I think Rolex is all in house, right?
Yeah,
they make most everything except one or two little things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They just grew big and bought everyone that supplied to them. So
right.
I think as of 2005 they became all in house. That's when they bought Eigler. the movement company. So that's at least what I've heard. All right. So guys, it was really great having you on here. Thanks so much, Keith and Chaz, for joining me for Watch Soup. Everyone in the chat, it's been a real pleasure and honor to have you here too. It's been a fun evening. So I'm really grateful for you all. Do you guys have anything coming up this week that you might want to plug? Anything interesting you might want to plug for someone else?
Well, we've got Tuesday night
yes.
coming up.
Tonight.
Bobby Legs, and then probably Wednesday, and then you've got on the weekend.
Yeah, so Random Rob on Monday.
I forgot about Rob. Yeah. Rob's got his stream tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I think he 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
So, yep.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
I think Karan is doing a stream after this show.
Oh yeah,
really?
It might have started.
I think we've been invited to jump over there, so I would just, if anyone is inclined to go see About Time.
Yeah. We should end quick then. Anyway, everyone, I hope you all have a fantastic week. Remember, you guys are all infinitely valuable, even that John Mayer G-Shock. But yeah, thanks guys for joining us and spending some time with us. We really appreciate it.
Have a great week, everybody.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
Thanks, Sanjay.